I mean, he had Tom bloodied up, and Tom didn't want to continue.
It's bad. It's not good. But his eye is a little bit.
And he still can't see. Of course he couldn't see on the night. He still can't see now.
Tom Aspinall lost the UFC heavyweight title in one of the most explosive and controversial moments the sport has seen, just weeks after becoming undisputed champion in June 2025, following Jon Jones' retirement. His first title defense came at UFC 321 against Cyril Gane, with Aspinall entering as a strong favorite and clearly controlling the fight early. But everything flipped at the end of round 1 when Gane accidentally jabbed Aspinall in both eyes, instantly wrecking his vision and leaving him unable to see clearly. The fight was ruled a no contest, yet despite the foul being unintentional, Dana White made the shocking call to strip Aspinall of the belt. The move stunned fans and blew up debate across the MMA world over whether a champion should lose his title because of an accidental illegal foul instead of an in-cage loss.
Well, I actually got eye poked twice in the fight. First one wasn't too bad. He got warned for it. The second one, obviously, Cyril Gane tried to make my head a bowling ball with the double eye poke knuckle deep.
The injury was way more serious than a routine eye poke. Tom Aspinall was stretchered out and rushed to the hospital immediately, while Cyril Gane apologized repeatedly, making it clear the foul was accidental. No fines, no punishment, nothing. The moment reignited loud debates about UFC glove design and long-standing failures in eye poke prevention. But the real damage came at the post-fight press conference. That's where the relationship between champion and promotion completely collapsed. Dana White brushed off the no contest as a pain in the ass for business, claimed there was no real damage to Aspinall's eye, and pushed the idea that the stoppage was Aspinall's personal decision instead of a medical call. That framing created a brutal narrative, painting the champion as someone who quit instead of a fighter forced out by injury.
Hello here and there, but I don't really have a relationship with Dana. I have a relationship with, I speak to Hunter.
You're the heavyweight champion of the world. You're a huge star. You've taken fights on short notice. You've been backup fighter. You stayed on the sidelines for et cetera, et cetera.
Tom Aspinall's long injury dispute with the UFC exploded when Dana White officially stripped him of the heavyweight title, even though the injury came directly from an illegal foul. The move sent shockwaves through the MMA world, especially considering Aspinall's history of loyalty and his reputation for stepping in on short notice whenever the company needed him. This decision set a dangerous precedent. Fighters could now lose championships while sidelined by foul-induced injuries, not losses. Speaking out against UFC leadership suddenly looked risky, and champions may feel forced to rush back before their bodies are ready just to protect their belts. Meanwhile, the fighter who caused the foul faced zero consequences. The situation raised serious questions about fighter safety, fairness, and the incentives shaping how athletes deal with injuries inside the cage.
I didn't continue. I'll tell you why I didn't continue. Because I'm not a dummy. Like, I'm not going to go out there and fight one of the best strikers in the world if I can't see.
With double vision.
With any eye. Look, I know, as an MMA fighter, look, things are going to happen in the fight.
Tom Aspinall grew more vocal about the UFC's lack of real fighter safety, making it clear that athletes hurt by illegal fouls shouldn't be blamed for choosing their health over optics. He pushed back hard against the idea that fighting injured is some kind of badge of honor. Tensions exploded on December 2nd, 2025, when Aspinall revealed that Dana White hadn't contacted him in over 6 weeks and had publicly questioned his toughness. All medical communication was pushed onto Hunter Campbell, while Aspinall dealt with an uncertain recovery and the possibility of surgery. To White, Aspinall's inactivity wasn't a medical issue, it was a business headache. This clash came after years of built-up frustration. Aspinall won the interim title in 2023, then waited 18 long months for Jon Jones, who defended once in 2024 and retired in mid-2025. White refused to strip Jones during that stretch, sparking loud favoritism accusations until a deadline was finally set. White did accept Jones' retirement and crowned Aspinall undisputed champion, promising to fix things. But once Aspinall's injury froze the division, White flipped his tone. His public claim that Tom didn't want to continue hit hard, damaging Aspinall's reputation even after medical exams later confirmed how serious the injury really was.
I was very disappointed. Yeah, very disappointed.
Do you think the way that was phrased led to some of the criticism afterwards? In other words, if he would have come up and said, poked in the eye, illegal, couldn't see, couldn't continue, serious injury, etc., people would have laid off. They would have taken cues from him.
It definitely didn't help the cause.
In a November 30th interview, Dana White tried to calm the backlash, saying nobody was blaming Tom Aspinall for being unable to continue after the eye poke. He pushed for stricter penalties on eye pokes and claimed an Aspinall versus Cyril Gane rematch would be fast-tracked as soon as Aspinall got medical clearance, possibly in early 2026. But that promise came with a catch. Everything depended on having a healthy champion ready to fight. With Aspinall facing an indefinite recovery and possible surgery, the heavyweight division stayed completely stuck, frozen in limbo with no clear direction and no real timeline forward.
Do you think you can start training again?
Look, it's not up to me. It's up to the doctors. At the minute, I ain't allowed to do nothing, so I'm just following advice at the moment.
What's next?
What's next for me right now is there's talk of surgery on the eyes. We've got to see how it goes.
The champion had no return timeline at all. Surgery was still on the table, and once again, the heavyweight division was completely paralyzed. This time, it wasn't because of Jon Jones' delays, but because of an injury caused by an illegal foul inside a UFC cage. The bigger picture exposed a troubling pattern in Dana White's rocky history with elite heavyweights, raising serious questions about how the UFC handles its biggest stars. Stipe Miocic had long felt undervalued despite his legacy. Francis Ngannou walked away entirely after pay and treatment disputes. Now, Tom Aspinall found himself clashing with White in ways that felt impossible to repair. Veteran referee Herb Dean later confirmed that post-incident commission meetings were gaining momentum, pushing for stricter eye poke rules, including automatic point deductions for extended fingers and tighter enforcement. But while rule talks dragged on, Aspinall stayed sidelined. On November 21, 2025, White publicly blasted Aspinall for floating the idea of vacating the title so his friend Ante Delia could get a shot, calling the idea insane. The friction between champion and promoter grew worse by the week, with both sides refusing to back down. By November 30th, Aspinall fired back even harder, reminding critics that no foul requires a fighter to keep going while essentially fighting blind.
If you were sidelined from doing your job for like 15 months, not allowed to do anything, you train your ass off for 6 months for a fight, then to get double eye pokes, be left with no vision for nearly 6 weeks because of an illegal move, how do you think I feel?
The Aspinall controversy exposed long-standing problems in how the UFC treats injured fighters. The company pushes them hard on the way up, but once they're hurt, the support suddenly gets real thin. With the heavyweight division frozen and no timeline for Aspinall's return, the situation became impossible to ignore. The future of the title was now unavoidable. The UFC has stripped inactive champions before, and Aspinall publicly challenging the promotion only made that outcome more likely. By early December 2025, Dana White still hadn't responded directly to Aspinall's criticism, signaling a serious communication breakdown and hinting that a major move was coming. While White spoke in general terms about eye poke issues, he carefully avoided addressing Aspinall's side of the story. The division couldn't sit and wait forever. Aspinall held the interim title for 18 months without unifying it, then saw his first undisputed defense and almost instantly in a no contest. With an indefinite recovery ahead, the UFC faced uncertainty over pay-per-view sales, broadcast partners, and business momentum, all of which depend on having an active heavyweight champion ready to fight.
Taken a fight on 2 weeks' notice, you've taken a fight in the middle of the night, been backup fighter for Jones versus Miocic, and then obviously the whole John Jones saga. How do you sort of see this going forward for yourself with the UFC?
I think right now we just got to focus on.
While Tom Aspinall locked in on recovery, the UFC stayed locked in on business, and those two priorities were clearly on a collision course. The promotion agreed to cover Aspinall's medical expenses through Hunter Campbell, but the strange part was obvious. The champion never heard directly from Dana White himself. All support came through intermediaries, never from the president. White originally promised a rematch would happen as soon as Aspinall was cleared, possibly in early 2026. But as that window got closer, Aspinall showed no signs of being ready to return. White's post-fight claim that both guys are not injured aged horribly, especially once Aspinall's medical records told a very different story. Public reactions split fast and hard. Supporters praised Aspinall for protecting his long-term career and vision, while critics accused him of making heavyweights look soft by not pushing through the injury. On December 3, 2025, Henry Cejudo publicly called out Dana White, using Aspinall's situation as a clear example of deeper dysfunction inside the sport. The irony was impossible to miss. John Jones faced pressure for delays he chose through contract talks. So what happens to a champion who challenges the president, disputes his version of events, and can't give any return timeline at all?
I'm bloodied up, and Tom didn't want to continue.
Tom Aspinall waited 18 long months for his title opportunity, only to be forced out by injury. And the response from the top made everything worse. UFC President Dana White publicly questioned Aspinall's toughness and heart, attacking the very traits that define a fighter's reputation in this sport. On November 30th, 2025, Aspinall fired back by releasing his medical records to protect his name. The diagnosis revealed bilateral traumatic Brown syndrome, an extremely rare eye condition that affects both eyes and is almost never seen in combat sports. The injury severely limited vertical eye movement, causing double vision, blurred vision, intense light sensitivity, and major visual field loss. Imaging also showed orbital tissue damage and a fractured right orbital wall. The condition made even basic daily tasks nearly impossible and left Aspinall medically unfit to compete. Surgery remained a real possibility. Despite clear, career-threatening medical evidence, White refused to shift his public stance, permanently damaging the relationship between champion and promotion.
Fine, if you get punched or kicked in the eye, that's fine. If you get double eye poked in both eyes and you've got no vision because of a foul, why should I carry on so some dummy can look and say, oh yeah, Tom just got knocked out? Because I ain't going to fight if I can't see anything because of a foul. If it's a little illegal move, we have to fight through it. That's what we do as fighters. But when it's a foul, why am I going to put my health at risk when I can't see?
Tom Aspinall's hints about crossing over to boxing suddenly feel very real after the UFC stripped him of the title and left him feeling misrepresented. The heavyweight division has to move on, likely circling names like Cyril Gane again, or rising contenders such as Jailton Almeida. But the bigger question hangs heavy. Is this real progress or just business steamrolling basic fairness? Aspinall's future is wide open and full of uncertainty. he still has to recover from serious eye injuries. His relationship with Dana White looks beyond repair, and he lost his championship without ever being beaten in the cage. Legal questions linger about whether the UFC failed to protect him from an illegal foul and then punished him for the damage it caused. Many fans see the real issue as the foul itself: weak rules, flawed glove design, and a promotion that puts business first over safety. In 2025, Aspinall became a cautionary example of how champions can be stripped while healing, how speaking out can backfire, and how loyalty often comes second to the bottom line. So what are your thoughts on all this madness? Did the UFC do Tom Aspinall dirty, or was stripping the title just cold business as usual? Should a champion ever lose his belt because of an accidental illegal foul, or is that crossing a serious line? Drop your take in the comments, speak your mind, and let it fly, because this debate is far from over.